Hey guys. Should have just completed example 3. We're going to now go on to example 4 in your foldable. I want to quickly review the steps for solving a quadratic equation. Okay, the first thing you need to do is, as indicated on step 1 right here, you've got to make sure that your equation is equal to 0. You also need to graph the function. So you can't graph the function until it's equal to 0. After that, you're going to look for your solutions, and then you can check your answers. All right, so let me erase that mess if I can. There we go. And let's go down to example 4. Okay, so we've got a word problem, so you definitely need to mark your text. So let's look at what we might highlight here. Let's do green. Okay, so it says the function L equals 0.6t squared. Okay, that function's probably going to be important. Measures the relationship between L, the length in feet of a pendulum. So guys, right there, they've just defined L. They said L is the length in feet of a pendulum. It doesn't matter if you know what a pendulum is or not. It's a thing that swings back and forth. And T, the period in seconds. So they've already defined both of our variables. We've got L equals 0.6t squared. And we already know that L stands for the length. And that T stands for the time in seconds. So if you look at all of our answer choices, we're actually looking for seconds. So we're looking for T. This is what we're trying to solve for. So let's continue reading. Which value is closest to the period of pendulum in seconds? Again, another hint that we're looking for the seconds or the T of a pendulum that is 20 feet long. Okay, 20 feet long is probably going to be important since L stands for length. But before we go through this, think about just common sense. If we're talking about our answer choices are seconds, are there any answer choices that we could cross out? Why'd you think about that for a second? Yeah, we should assume that time is going to be positive. So letter A and letter D should be crossed out because we're talking about time. Although I'm sure we all wish at points we could go have some negative time and change whatever happened. We've got to have positive time. All right, so now let's look at what we know. Looks like we've identified our length. We've identified what our L is. We've identified what our T is. Now we've got to figure out what to do with this 20. Well, this 20 says it's 20 feet long. Well, long is a tense of length. So that means instead of this L, I'm going to use 20 equals 0.6. And for the sake, because I know I'm going to be graphing, I'm going to change that T to an X. So I'm going to have 20 equals 0.6x squared. So if we go back up to our rules, it says that, all right, we've got to make sure your equation is equal to 0, graph the function. So we haven't yet actually completed step 1. We have to make sure the equation is equal to 0. So let me kind of... All right, so if we've got to make sure the equation is equal to 0, I'm going to leave wherever my x squared is alone. What I need to do is get rid of this 20 here. All right, if this is a positive 20, all I need to do is do a minus 20. That's going to cross it out. And then over here, I'm just going to move that minus 20 to the end of the equation. So you're going to have 0 equals 0.6x squared minus 20. And that's our goal. We need this equation to equal 0. And the reason we need it to equal 0 is because that's how we're going to graph it. So now that we've got everything on this side of the equal sign, you're going to put that into your calculator. So go ahead and get that calculator powered up. And if you're on your home screen, go to New Document. We're going to add graph. And then we're going to type in that equation. So we're going to do 0.6x squared. If you try to graph it with the t, it will give you an error. You've got to make sure you do x squared. And then that minus 20. Press enter. Okay, and so if we go back again to our directions, right, what we've done is we've set it equal to 0. Now we've graphed the function. What we're going to do now is find the zeros. Okay, so if we're going to find our zeros, we're looking for these, right? They're our x-intercepts. We've got an x-intercept here. Oops, I moved the graph around. Let me undo that. Just going to press escape. Well, now I've really done it. Double click, change that to. Okay, now we're back. I'm going to stop trying to write on the screen, and we can do our menu 5-1, menu trace. Okay, and I'm going to see that I have a 0 at 5.77. And guys, remember, there's no reason to really check the other 0 because that's negative, and we've already discussed that there's no such thing as negative time. So I'm only concerned with the positive answer, which is 5.77. All right, so I've got that my solution is 5.77. So I've got to figure out which of those two leftover answers is closest to 577. So letter B says 5.8 seconds and letter C says 5.7 seconds. Guys, lots of different ways to round, but 77 cents is way closer to 80 cents than it is to 70 cents. Also, the rule is if the second number is bigger than 5, then you're going to round the next number up. So it's going to be 5.8. So our answer here is going to be letter B. Got a little messy. All right, guys, make sure no matter what, you've got your text marked. This is really important here. The L equals 0.6 t squared. You've got to make sure you know where that length came from, where that 20 came from, and then what the steps were after that. So rewatch this, pause it as many times as you need to. All righty. Can't get this recording to end. Let's just try pause. I actually cannot get this recording to end. Oh, that's